Hey, today we're gonna be taking a look at the last moments of Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Now, in case y'all don't know who Lil Jeff was, he was a Chicago rapper, up and coming Chicago rapper that got taken off the board a little over a year ago. People were saying that he was gonna be the next King Von or bigger. All right, we're gonna get into that. Hey, before we do, y'all know I gotta have y'all smash that like button for your boy. Get this video into the algorithm. Let's get some views on this video, all right? Let's go.
The streets of Chicago never sleep, and for Lil Jeff and his right-hand man, Q50, that was a fact of life. The two were soldiers in the Bloodhounds, a crew locked in a brutal war with Trap City, a rival faction that had been flexing its muscle across the South Side. The feud wasn't just about territory or clout, it was personal. It all traced back to a single moment. Lil Jeff, a 22-year-old, known for his bold moves, snatching a chain off Trap City Carter's neck during a run-in, and then flexing with it on the gram. That moment kicked off a back and forth that had both sides trading insults online, and eventually bullets in the streets. By the summer of 2024, the tension was thick, with Jeff and his shadow Q50 at the forefront. Just like their lyrics, Jeff and Q50 lived the life. And on June 8, 2024, the duo alongside a third member took to the street when they got word that a Trap City guy was hanging out in a spot they couldn't ignore. Even though it was in enemy territory, Jeff and Q50 didn't mind. But that bravery or stupidity will eventually cost Jeff his life. Jeff rapped about shootouts, chasing down rivals, and making his mark on the city. And on June 8th, he was caught in the very scenario he had so often described in his songs. Leaked surveillance footage from that day paints a brutal picture. Jeff, Q50, and another shooter pulled up to South Rhodes Avenue, a territory Jeff had frequently mentioned in his music. The footage begins with Jeff jumping out of the car, gun in hand, and immediately targeting a man in bright yellow shorts, later identified as Man Man. As Man Man dodged behind a car and ran for cover into a house, Jeff followed, firing shots.
Nah. See, look, I don't condone this life right here, but if y'all gonna be doing this out in the streets for real, y'all gotta get tactically sound. This ain't modern warfare. You know what I'm saying? If you chasing somebody down, they run into a house, a building, somewhere behind a wall, you can't see them, you stop and take cover. Because you don't know what's on the other side of that wall. If he would have did that, he had cover right there. It was a brick pillar right there. If he would have stopped right there at that corner and just put his back to it and peeked around, he might still be here today. A lot of people don't know this, but my time in the army, it was a lot of street dudes in there. And a lot of the, especially the Mexican gangs, the Spanish gangs, they'll send their little young dudes to the army to get tactical training. And then they come back and train everybody and train other people. The cartels do it too with the U.S. Army. If y'all gonna do this, man, y'all gotta, you don't even gotta go to the army to do this no more. You can look it up online and practice it yourself. Come on, you guys. Y'all just out here like it's a video game, like it's GTA, bro. It ain't. It's real life.
Relentlessly. But then everything
training
changed in an instant. An unseen shooter inside the house fired back, catching Jeff off guard. He was struck and stumbled backward, collapsing at the foot of the porch. His enemies didn't hesitate. They unleashed a relentless barrage, hitting Jeff 19 times and emptying an entire magazine into his defenseless body. Q50 and the other shooter, still engaged in the gunfight, struggled to hold their ground. At one point, Q50 slipped and injured his...
Just go and get up and walk back onto the car, man. Just get up and walk on back to the car. Because y'all did not plan this out whatsoever. Did not plan this out whatsoever. Y'all should have made a better plan. Y'all should have made a better plan. And that's what get a lot of y'all street dudes in trouble, is y'all moving off of impulse and emotions instead of planning this stuff out.
Ankle, yet he continued firing, even taking shots at a passing car. Some speculated that the driver was linked to Man Man, but the truth remains uncertain. Outnumbered and outgunned, Jeff's crew had no choice but to retreat. Recognizing that Jeff was beyond saving, the driver of their vehicle sped off. However, in an unexpected move, Q50 and the other shooter doubled back, braving enemy fire to retrieve Jeff's lifeless body. They rushed.
And I know some of y'all gonna say, hey, that's easy for you to say when there's bullets flying at you, da-da-da-da. I was in Iraq. I know this for facts. Okay? Jeez.
to the hospital, but it was too late. Jeff had already taken his last breath in the car, with Q50 witnessing his final moments. By June 9th, the streets were buzzing with the news. Social media exploded with reactions. Twitter was ablaze. Reddit threads dissected every detail, and police scanners crackled with updates. But for Jeff's family and crew, this wasn't just another casualty in the never-ending war. It was deeply personal. Jeff's father took to Facebook in anguish, posting throwback pictures of his son with the caption, "The world." He didn't mince words, stating, "Let it be known, y'all didn't get him. He came trying to get y'all, and what happened happened." But the saga continues. Clear the streets. While some critics,
As a father of 7, I'd have never made that post. I'd have never made that post. First of all, I wouldn't be condoning this. I wouldn't be proud that my son got taken out like this. I'd be mad. More at myself. Like, for real. I'm not even trying to blow down on nobody. I'm just being honest. I would be mad at myself. I would feel like that I let my child down. No offense to his parents. That's just how I would feel as a parent.
criticized him for glorifying the violence. Others sympathized with a grieving father who had lost his son to the harsh reality of the streets. As for Q50, mourning wasn't on his agenda. In a chilling social media post, he referred to Jeff as his brother and twin, promising to fulfill Jeff's final wishes, implying that revenge was inevitable. Those who knew Q50 understood that his threats weren't hollow. Yet the streets rarely listen to warnings until it's too late. Trap City, the set allegedly responsible for Jeff's murder, responded with utter disrespect. Instead of letting Jeff rest in peace, they escalated the feud. Members took to Instagram, posting videos reenacting Jeff's final moments, mocking his fall, pretending to be shot and yelling, "I'm hit! I'm hit!" Their comment sections were flooded with taunts, calling out Q50, accusing him of abandoning Jeff in the heat of the battle. However, what happened next shook the Trap City and the whole city of Chicago. Until this day, it's unknown if things were planned to go down that road or if the Bloodhounds took it that far because of the taunts.
You heard the fans be like, "Man, get their ass on the porch."
One of the people who featured prominently in the taunt video was identified as Trap City Carter, the same guy whose chain Jeff stole, which led to the war.
All this over a chain, bro.
This is what they call him slide now, man. We can slide. He's right there.
Y'all willing to go do life in prison over a chain, over somebody stealing your chain? You willing to go do life in prison? Oh, it's a respect thing. It's respect this and respect that. Ain't nobody on the streets respecting you when you locked up in jail.
It appears the Bloodhounds and Q50 felt he was the perfect candidate to make an example of. The beef started with Jeff and Carter, and with Jeff gone, Carter had to follow. On October 19th, 2024, marked the Bloodhounds' relentless retaliation. Trap City Carter was enjoying a quiet evening in Bronzeville, unaware that the Bloodhounds were ready to strike. At 8:41 p.m., two masked gunmen jumped out of a white car and opened fire. Carter barely had a moment to react before bullets tore through his chest, sending him to the ground. The shooters swiftly got back in the car and sped off, leaving no time for anyone to process the chaos.
Like it was
By
better
the time
plan.
paramedics arrived, Carter was barely holding on. Despite their best efforts, his injuries were fatal. He was rushed to UChicago Medical, but the doctors couldn't save him. The medical examiner later confirmed that Chevelle Trap City Carter had died. It didn't take long for the streets to point fingers. This wasn't a random attack, it was payback. While the city was still reeling from the loss, Q50 wasted no time celebrating. Hours after Carter's death, he posted on Instagram, "Now Lil Jeff and Lil Scoom can rest now." No one needed a detective to read between the lines. This was a claim of victory. But not everyone believed that the Bloodhounds were the ones who pulled the trigger. Trap City Tarot quick.
Speaking of Lil Scoom, did they ever catch up to the one chick yet? What was her name? Nene or something like that? When she went into hiding? Where she at, in the mountains?
Took to Instagram, firing back with a scathing rant. "On my dead brother, niggas ain't ever put in their own work. Remember that. Been needing help, and this not finna go well for none of y'all. LOL. Watch how croak." Tarot made it clear he wasn't about to let this slide. The loss of Carter was devastating, but the Bloodhounds weren't done yet. Exactly 1 week later, as Carter was being laid to rest, tragedy struck again. On the day of the funeral, as the procession left St. Mark's Church, Carter's sister, Romisha Turner, was gunned down. Driving her white Jaguar S.
Why the sister though? Yo! Why the sister? I thought women and children was off limits, bruh.
SUV in the funeral convoy. she was suddenly ambushed by gunfire. The bullets ripped through her vehicle, causing her to crash into a house. By the time the police arrived, she was slumped over the wheel, lifeless, a victim of multiple gunshot wounds. A single shoe was found on the pavement, an eerie reminder of how fast life can be taken away. Romesha was rushed to UChicago Medicine Ingalls Memorial, but she didn't survive the attack. 2 deaths in 2 weeks. Trap City Carter and his sister both lost to the violence that ruled the streets. The city was left in shock, unsure whether to mourn or to celebrate what some saw as justice. Social media lit up with reactions, but one comment cut through the noise. Murdered her brother, then murdered her at her brother's funeral. Another one of us killed by our own black man. No matter where people stood, the message was undeniable. The Bloodhounds weren't just getting revenge for Lil Jeff, they were sending a message that the war was far from over. Meanwhile, despite rumors of who was behind the attacks, whispers on the street pointed directly to Lil Jeff's right-hand man, Q50. Many believed he had orchestrated the deaths of Trap City Carter and his sister, further solidifying his position in the bloody cycle of retaliation. The death of Lil Jeff was an incident that rocked the whole city, not just because of who he was and what he represented, but also because of the way he died.
Hey, that was a nice ass Moissanite watch though. I ain't even gonna lie. That bust down Moissanite watch, bro, that shit was hard.
The video of his gruesome murder that went viral. However, months after his death, it's been revealed that Jeff could have avoided getting killed and staying away from the beef altogether. How Lil Jeff could have escaped death. Weeks after the death of Lil Jeff, Rico Reckless has revealed he did his best to keep Jeff away from the violence that later took his life. In interviews and online posts, Rico, a seasoned rapper and figure in the rap scene, has opened up about his efforts to steer Jeff toward a different path. To Rico, Jeff wasn't just another young artist trying to break through, he was someone he cared about, a talent he believed in, before the streets and the internet took notice. Jeff's death in June 2024 hit Rico hard, leaving him to reflect on what might have been if Jeff had listened and stayed out of Chicago's crosshair. Rico and Jeff's relationship went back further than most realized. Rico, in his early 30s by 2024, had been around the block, making music, building a name, surviving the ups and downs of the streets. He first crossed paths with Jeff a couple of years earlier, around 2022, when Jeff was just 20 and starting to get serious about rapping.
That's my shorty. I've been with Bloodhound Lil Jeff since before the internet thought he was cool. I told him he was gonna be cool though, cause he had charisma. People liked him, cause he just was like little light skinned motherfucker. Like, you know? Cause that one shorty, they just tall. So like, people Lil Jeff gang.
To Rico, Jeff stood out, not just for his flow, but for the way he carried himself. They clicked fast, and Rico took on a role he didn't always plan for. Part mentor, part big brother. Their bond wasn't just about music. Rico saw Jeff as family in a way, someone he wanted to protect from the same traps he'd seen claim others. Jeff, at 22 by mid-2024, was deep in the Bloodhounds, a crew locked in a growing feud with Trap City. That beef kicked off earlier that year when Jeff snatched a chain from Trap City Carter, a move that turned a personal slight into a full-on war. Rico knew where that road led. Diss tracks, social media taunts, and eventually gunfire. He didn't want Jeff to end up another name on a memorial t-shirt. I told him he could be big, Rico said. He didn't need all that other stuff. Rico saw a chance to pull Jeff out of the mess. Jeff had come out to California sometime in September. Likely
Hey, shout out to Rico, man. That's what a real big homie's supposed to do, bro. He's supposed to try to get you up out the streets. Hey, you got a talent, bro. Don't go back to that stuff. Make this money, man. You about to elevate your family if you stay here and make this money, man. Don't worry about that street stuff, because that street stuff, it's gonna only put you in one of two places, bruh.
Around the second or third week for what started as a short trip. Rico, who'd been spending more time on the West Coast to work on his own projects, invited Jeff to stay longer.
You should have saw how happy he was out here in Cali to be away from that environment. Like, the joy that was in his face. I still got videos on my phone I can show you. When we get under, I can show you, like, you could tell, like.
California offered a break from the tension back home, where the Trap City feud was picking up steam. Rico showed Jeff a different way to move, less about street cred, more about building something lasting. Out there, Rico took Jeff around, introducing him to people in the music game.
Hey, street cred only gonna get you so far. Look at Dirk. Look at Dirk. One of the biggest stars to ever come out of Chicago. Kept chasing street cred, and now he's sitting down. Even if he do beat this, he done sat down for over a year. Jail fucking sucks. I don't care who you are. It's especially sucking for him, who's a multimillionaire and is used to being up and getting up and going, getting whatever he want, driving nice cars and stuff like that, wearing nice clothes. That's a shock to him. I don't care what he say on the phone. Come on, man. Eating that food, bro, please.
We'd go places and folks knew me from my tracks or interviews, Rico said. Jeff was like, how you know everybody? Rico explained it was about networking, making connections that could open doors. Jeff got the idea quick.
He did it, I swear to God, Vlad, the whole day he walked around, like everybody he meet, cause I'm showing like, all right, look, this how you do it. So I go in the spot, hey, Records, I f with you. I'm, all right, look, gang, look, take down my info, follow my gram, you can take down my number, I don't give none of that shit, like lock in. So then I'm like, and look, this one of the hottest upcoming rappers from Chicago, man, this Bloodhound Lil Jeff, man.
They hit studios, met producers, and Jeff even started laying down some tracks. Rico had word that Lil Bibby and Grade A Productions were eyeing Jeff for a deal, a real shot at going legit. Seeing Jeff take to it, Rico pushed him to stay. I told him, man, chill out here. You don't even have to stay where you're at. Crash with me. Rico's offer wasn't just about convenience. He knew Chicago was getting hot for Jeff. The chain incident with Carter had made Jeff a target, and the Bloodhounds were planning moves to hit back at Trap City. Stay in Cali, G, Rico said, giving Jeff a spot at his place. He figured a few months away could cool things off, let Jeff focus on music, maybe sign. That deal. But Jeff wasn't fully on board. He'd been in California for about 2 weeks, and while he liked the vibe, he couldn't shake Chicago. The Bloodhounds were his crew, and the beef with Trap City felt unfinished. By late September, he decided.
See, look, this is what I don't understand about these street gangs, man. You got somebody who's standing out, about to make a lot of money. That's coming from your hood, your set, your gang. You're supposed to shield him from this. Tell him, hey, don't worry about it. We got you, bro. We got it. We got it. You stay there, get your name popping, and get this money. We need Glocks, bro. Send them. Send them. We need artillery. Send them. You just stay there and get the money. Why does nobody think like that? You gotta have somebody bringing in that money. You legit money.
To head back. Before Jeff left, Rico made one last push. They talked on the phone. Rico said it was 40 or 50 minutes, going over everything. I told him to stop doing certain things, Rico said. Be cool, folks. They're watching you. Jeff's name was out there, and Rico knew what that meant in a city like Chicago. They're on your Jeff, he warned. You don't need to be moving like that. He brought up the deal with Bibby, the people they'd met, the life Jeff could have if he stayed away. Jeff heard him out but stuck to his plan. He said he had to handle some stuff, Rico remembered. That call likely was their last. Jeff got back to Chicago and things moved fast, and before long he was dead. Rico heard the news soon after. That hit me hard, he said. I was down about it. He stayed off the videos that spread online, clips of the scene, people breaking it down.
Man, that shit me up, though. I ain't gonna lie, I was sad. I'm sad. Everybody kept trying to show the video and I ain't like that.
What stuck with him more was how Jeff went out. He was with his crew, but it didn't sound like anyone had his back when it counted.
I ain't gonna lie, folk. If I was going on the drill with my homie, folk, I'm down with him, folk. I don't respectfully, folk, because we knew what the fuck we signed up for when we popped outside, gang.
Rico didn't linger on regrets. He'd seen too much to get lost in that. R.I.P. Jeff, man, he said. He was real. He'd done what he could. Brought Jeff to Cali. Showed him another way. Laid out the risks. But Jeff's roots in Chicago, the Bloodhounds, the beef, the life, held tight. He could have escaped death by staying west, building on what he and Rico started. Instead, he went home, and the streets took him, same as they'd taken others before in a feud that started over a chain. Sadly, Jeff, Trap City Carter, and his sister aren't the only casualties of the feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City, which over the years has dominated streets of Chicago. The feud that got Lil Jeff killed in Chicago's South Side is a battleground where the lines between survival, pride, and violence blur into a relentless cycle of retribution. At the heart of this chaos lies the Bloodhounds versus Trap City feud.
I'd be doing anything to try to get the hell up out of there, bro. Seriously. Oh, we going to South Side of Chicago? I'm just gonna tuck mine in.
Clash that claimed the life of Bloodhound Lil Jeff, a rising drill rapper whose music and actions embodied the raw intensity of the streets. What began as a dispute over a stolen chain in early 2023 spiraled into a war that left a trail of bodies, shattered alliances, and a haunting legacy in Chicago's drill scene. This is the story of how personal grudges, gang loyalty, and the pursuit of respect fueled a conflict that ended with Lil Jeff's death on June 8, 2024. The Bloodhounds emerged in the early 2010s, a renegade faction of black disciples, BDs, and gangster disciples, GDs, rooted in Chicago's Chatham and Woodlawn neighborhoods. Not a single gang, but an alliance. They united sets like Drill City, 79th and Maryland, MTV 079, 79th and Vernon, 400 East Murder Drive, and until 2023, Trap City under the 0679 banner. This coalition, dubbed Bloodhound 079, thrived.
I'm lost. I ain't even gonna lie. They lost me with all the numbers and shit, y'all.
for over a decade, blending street hustle with the drill music that exploded out of Chicago's underground. Drill City, the heart of the Bloodhounds, became infamous along the 79th Street corridor, a stretch plagued by shootings and tension where survival demanded a readiness to act. Lil Jeff was a Drill City native who rose as a Bloodhound's figurehead. Alongside peers like Q50, Vert, and JB Bin Laden, he turned street cred into music that pulsed through Chicago. Tracks like Should Have Saw It showcased his bravado, with videos flaunting their turf's gritty reality. The Bloodhounds' alliance with Trap City, another Southside set, held firm until a single act unraveled it. The theft of a chain belonging to Trap City's Carter, allegedly by Lil Jeff himself. In early 2023, the 67 stalking chain, a prized symbol of Trap City's identity, went missing, and fingers pointed at Lil Jeff. In the drill world, where respect is everything, this wasn't just theft, it was a declaration of war. Trap City confronted Jeff, who allegedly lied about a police chase to dodge accountability.
They know what they did.
So, okay.
They know what they did.
So, okay, the Bloodhounds, y'all was cool.
That was my homie. He stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my homie.
The situation escalated when two Trap City members
And then you got this dude not smart enough to know, hey, you probably shouldn't be talking about this on camera. Cause ain't he in jail? Ain't he in jail right now? Or wasn't they talking about he's the one that, yeah, something like that. Come on. Stop talking on camera. Telling street shit on camera.
Only for someone from
learn.
a nearby house, possibly a Bloodhound ally, to shoot one of the pursuers, a cousin of an O-Block member, though O-Block stayed out of it. This incident, tied to the chain, shattered the 0679 alliance, pitting Bloodhounds against Trap City in a deeply personal feud. The first major casualty came on March 16, 2023. Zaire Z Money Nelson, a 22-year-old Bloodhounds member and Lil Jeff's cousin, was ambushed in a parking lot near 79th and Kimbar. A gunman from a vehicle fired over 29 rounds, killing him instantly. The gangs of Chicago Wiki and X-Post pinned this on Trap City, suggesting it was retaliation for the chain or earlier clashes where Z-Money and Q50 allegedly shot two Trap City members. His death broke the Bloodhounds, restraint setting off a chain of vengeance. Jeff and Q50 tatted Z-Money's name on their eyelids and Z's on their trigger fingers, vowing to make Trap City pay. Lil Jeff, known as a stepper with a rumored body count in double digits, didn't mourn quietly. On June 25th, 2023, Trap City's Yisra'el Lal Goins, 19, was gunned down in an Uber on the 1300 block of West Taylor Street in University Village called Little Italy. Little Italy, also known as University Village, is one of the most upscale.
It ain't even safe to be a civilian Uber driver in Chicago, bruh.
And gentrified areas in Chicago. It's a neighborhood known for its trendy restaurants, coffee shops, and low crime rates. But on this night, the streets came calling. Over 7 rounds struck him, fired by a gunman widely believed to be Jeff wielding a micro Draco.
You seen the placements of those, right? Now, I like shooting guns for recreation. You seen the placements of those, right? He ain't just pull up and spray.
Pistol. The Lyft driver sped to Rush University Medical Center, but Leal was gone. Sources like ABC7 Chicago and the gangs of Chicago Wiki tie this to Z-Money's killing, with Leal rumored to have backdoored him. The hit's boldness in a gentrified area stunned the city, amplifying the feud's reach.
I'm down there on the ground, crying and shaking and stuff. Pow, pow, pow. They said it was like 8 shots. No, I believe it was more than 20.
Jeff's involvement wasn't
Lay
subtle,
him down!
Music, like a remix of Lil Yachty's Coffin with Q50, dropped hints, with lines like catch him in a fishbowl, nodding to Leal's untinted Uber. This wasn't just retaliation, it was a taunt, a middle finger to Trap City broadcasted through Drill's lens.
Folks, can we get half that little slab today? Off that Lil? I don't need no shit. If you don't want to smoke Lil, I ain't trying to match. I ain't gonna lie. Let's play a new. If you ain't smoking my eyes, I can't smoke your eyes.
Leal's death sent shock through the community, not just because of the brazenness of the hit, but because of who he was. Leal was well connected to Project Hood, a local organization dedicated to combating violence in Chicago. Pastor Corey Brooks, the founder of Project Hood, confirmed that Leal was the son of an employee and released a statement mourning his loss. We are deeply saddened by the loss of Yisra'el Goins, a young man who was connected to our organization through his family. This senseless violence has to stop, Brooks said. Despite the high-profile nature of the case, no arrests were made. The shooter vanished into the night, leaving behind a trail of questions and a community in mourning. The violence didn't stop. Sometime after Leal's death, Trap City allegedly killed Trell, a lesser-known figure, though details are thin. He's often overlooked in the beef's narrative. Then in the fall of 2023, Trap City shot Q50 in the leg per Chiraqology, further stoking the fire. On August 31st, 2023, Bloodhounds targeted Glendale, a Trap City affiliate, at a Clark gas station on 67th and Eberhart. He survived multiple hits, but that night, Woodlawn saw 4 people shot, including a 4-year-old, showing the feud's collateral toll. Glendale later popped up online, thanking his people and throwing jabs at the Bloodhounds. The war was spiraling, and the casualties were stacking. By January 2024, the conflict turned surgical. On January 26th, Monterio Monty Drench Williams, 17, and Robert Lil Rob Boston, 16, brothers from Nitty Block, BKN, a Trap City ally, were executed outside Innovations High School in the Loop. During lunch break, Bloodhounds members T-Slick, Lil Jeff, and J-Mo allegedly hopped out of a sedan and SUV, firing for 15 seconds. Both teens died on the scene, and the shooters fled to Calumet City. Trap City hit back, though specifics are murky. Lil Jeff's music, tracks like Double Trouble, gloated over losses, turning Monty and Lil Rob's deaths into trophies. But the streets are a two-way game, and Trap City's resolve hardened. On June 8, 2024, Lil Jeff met his fate. At 21, he was on a drill in Trap City's hood, the 6,600 block of South Rhodes Avenue, chasing an op whom he'd targeted before. The war didn't end with Jeff. On October 19, 2024, Carter, the Trap City member whose chain sparked it all, was killed by a Bloodhounds allied group. His funeral in early November was shot up, killing his sister, an unnamed civilian casualty that underscored the feud's sprawl. Bloodhounds Q50 now leads, dominating drill while honoring Jeff, whose death at 21, just shy of 22, left a void. The body count stands at 8 confirmed. Z Money, Liel, Trell, Monty, Lil Rob, Lil Jeff, Vel, and Vel's sister. Earlier,
see, now Lil Jeff's name is just his name is just another name of the many statistics of Chicago. Because his homies didn't steer him in the right direction. Hey, nah, you stay doing this rap. We got this. Or it ain't that serious. Get that money.
Trap City losses are hinted at but unnamed. Chicago's 2024 homicide total dropped to 573, per the Chicago Tribune. Yet this feud's toll reflects a persistent undercurrent of violence, down from 617 in 2023, but still among recent decades' highs. The Bloodhounds versus Trap City feud is more than gang beef. It's a microcosm of Chicago's drill culture, where music and murder intertwine. Lil Jeff's story, stealing a chain, avenging his cousin, and dying in a drill, mirrors the pride and peril that define this world. Personal ties deepen the stakes. Jeff's brother and father were Trap City per Reddit, making each kill a wound within a fractured family. For Chatham and Woodlawn, the cost is generational. Young men like Monty and Lil Rob, gunned down at school, and innocents like Vel's sister highlight a war that spares no one. The 0679. Alliance's collapse left a vacuum filled with blood, a cautionary tale of how a single act, a stolen chain, can unravel a decade of unity.
All right.
For more content,
You guys let me know what you think about that. Like I said, I don't condone that life. I'm a civilian. You know what I'm saying? I don't condone that life. But if you're going to be living that life, you can't just be running into blind situations trying to gun somebody down. Because you see in his case, there was somebody else in that house waiting. If he would have just stopped, ducked around the corner real quick, he might still be here. Or if they would have planned it out better. Or if he would have just kept his ass in California making money in songs. He might be big right now, huge right now, especially with Dirk sitting down. Come on, man. Hey, we gotta do better. But shout out to all of Chicago's fallen soldiers. Shout out to all the grieving families. That's my video for today. Y'all let me know y'all opinion down in the comment section. Holla at your boy. Hey, for now, it's King Charm. I'm out.